Good morning, everybody. We are back with another live stream reviewing the Book of Boba Fett in name only, episode 5.
In
Uh,
name only.
oh, man. What's going on, Rhodes?
Good morning. I got up much later this morning than I had for the previous episodes last week when we went on. I was up 2 hours earlier than this morning.
Yeah.
So last week I actually watched the episode twice. This episode I got through once, and then 13 minutes of the second viewing, and I was like, I got to get on. I got to get on the stream.
Yeah, because I was coming back from getting coffee, and I got your text. You're like, man, I just woke up. I thought you would have been up to watch this.
I slept right. My alarm was set to go off at 4, and I slept right through it. I had forgot I turned the volume down when we were live yesterday because remember that call came in. Well, I never turned my volume back up the rest of the day. Yeah.
You see, I keep my phone on mute. I mean, not on mute, but silent.
Oh.
Silent. But no, it does vibrate. But my alarm always goes off with sound. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Good morning, D. Carey and Cormaran. Everybody smash the thumbs up button if you do not mind. To let everybody know that we are here. And we're going to be diving into The Mandalorian.
Episode 5 of...
Because newsflash, there's no Boba Fett in this. And that's a problem. It really is a problem. Even though this episode was a very good episode of The Mandalorian.
Of The Mandalorian, yeah. I think we were talking before we came on. It's a sad indictment of exactly what the Book of Boba Fett series.
Yeah.
It was like
we've gotten nowhere in this show. Five episodes in, and this is only a 7-episode show. And they finally started to get into the show in the last episode.
Right. And then Boba doesn't show up in the next episode.
Doesn't show up at all. And it has nothing to do with Boba Fett at all. I was kind of surprised because I knew that Din Djarin was going to show up, but I didn't expect him to show up right at the beginning. You see him, he comes in this like rocky meat cooler.
I know.
And he's right there.
I'm looking for Burt Young somewhere. Oh, it was funny as hell. Yeah, I was like, it's weird because we talked about exactly how well Jon Favreau has nailed the character of Boba Fett with The Mandalorian. I mean, it's so weird what's happened with this Boba Fett series. And as soon as Mando came, like you saw his shadow in through that plastic hanging down.
And you knew it was him.
Oh,
they didn't show his helmet or anything. It was like a silhouette, but you knew it was him.
But immediately the impact was large. And I was like, wow, that's the impact Boba Fett used to give when he would walk into the room.
Yeah. And Mando is not negotiating. He's not trying to be Mr. Nice Guy. He's not saying, oh, it's okay. He's like, no. And he said the line, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Because he was collecting a bounty. Because the guy was trying to negotiate with him.
The entire tone changed. Immediately it went back to feeling much more like a Star Wars show. Like a light switch. And you know, one of the things I always try to take notes for these things, but we can just talk about it without having to even get to that.
Yeah, I didn't take any notes, so we can go by yours.
There's power in not removing that helmet.
Yes.
It's a massive failure of the Book of Boba Fett that they have taken that helmet off. He takes his helmet off
way too much.
It's a problem. It's taken away the mystique and the mysteriousness around Boba Fett's character. Not only did you take it off, but you got Tamora Morrison he's just running his mouth. I mean, he's just talking all the time.
Yeah, the thing is, I didn't mind him not having his helmet on at the beginning of the show because we saw him get out the Sarlacc pit, and obviously he didn't have his armor. But once he got his armor back, they should have left that damn helmet on.
Right, he's just taking it off all the time. He's walking outside, and somebody walks off, boom, he pops it right back off again. You're like, what's going on here? And it's something we talked about when we were doing Mandalorian reviews. Favreau did a fantastic job of conveying emotion through a helmet.
Yes.
With a guy wearing a helmet. And the fact that the Mandalorian really and truly speaks more in the way Boba Fett spoke in the original trilogy. When Din Djarin talks, it carries so much more weight than when Boba Fett talks.
Because he doesn't over talk.
Exactly. Only when necessary does he speak, and he doesn't just say a bunch of wasted lines, dialogue. Okay, so it makes more impact. That's what we thought Boba Fett. That's what Boba Fett was supposed to be.
Even Jango Fett was like that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And Jango, he had his helmet off a lot, but you remember in Attack of the Clones, when he was meeting Obi-Wan, he said, "Always nice to meet a Jedi." And it was just that.
No more than needed. No more than needed. And they've completely lost their route on this Book of Boba Fett show. They didn't know where they were taking it, I guess. I don't know what they were thinking, but it's been it's sad when The Mandalorian shows up and it's far and away the best episode of your Boba Fett series. That's bad. That's bad. That's a failure of the show thus far. Also, did you notice just the immediate level of grittiness went up in the entire show? The gritty darkness of the show came back, which is something I expected from the Book of Boba Fett that we haven't gotten. I mean, is it just me, or does the Book of Boba Fett seem too damn bright and cheery?
Yes, it does.
I mean, it feels, I hate to say it, I'm just going to say it, it feels like Disney.
Yes, and some of those characters, even the mechanic on Mos Eisley, that is a complete Disney character right there. She's just too cheery. She doesn't feel like Star Wars, because those people on Tatooine, they definitely feel more like people you can't trust. This lady, I can't remember her name. Mando completely trusts her, and she is completely trustworthy.
Right.
But her attitude doesn't feel like somebody from Tatooine. I mean, because we had a lot of slick people on Tatooine. Watto, the Hutts, anybody in the cantina.
I will say that it does seem like they have made that interaction between her and Mando work, though. It works well. And she always seems to give him something to think about, at least get him down a road that he's like, well, I wasn't going to do that, but that kind of makes some sense in some kind of way. Yeah, it was good to see. It was obviously good to have the Mandalorians back, the armor, and Paz Vizsla. That was Jon Favreau in the suit.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. It was good to see that character.
Because Jon Favreau actually plays pre-Vizsla in Clone Wars.
Right. We're starting to realize he knows those Mandalorian characters. I think we talked about how good he knows those Mandalorian characters and that history and everything involving that. And I think it's helped him in putting the Mandalorian character together and everything surrounding that. I mean, look, he even got Ahsoka's character right and everything. I feel like there was
Dave Filoni had a lot to do with that.
Well, and that's true. A huge amount to do with that.
Well, he directed that episode too.
Right. Bryce Dallas Howard came back from
She directed
Mandalorian.
this one.
She directed that one. I was looking at that. This was her what? Third third directing duty involving Star Wars. So you could tell the further she goes along, the more and more she grasps what she's doing when it comes to Star Wars. Because the first episode that she directed in The Mandalorian, I was a little concerned. I was like,
wasn't that episode 4, the one that nobody liked?
It was the one, remember, where he met the woman in that
Yeah,
tribe?
yeah, with that AT-AT.
And it was
Yeah,
one of the weakest
that
episodes.
was not a good episode.
It was one of the weakest episodes of The Mandalorian. But then she came back, had a really good episode later in the season, or even maybe it was season 2. And then she comes back and directs this episode, and you know, for what it was, considering there wasn't like this big, massive goal of this episode, it was really good. And great back and forth. We find out that the Mandalorians, at least of that particular tribe, has been greatly reduced because
it's only 3 of them.
Because of Din Djarin's actions. You know, they came to assist him, and it hurt everybody in that tribe. A lot of them died and was wiped out. You know, just small things. You know, Star Wars always had this sort of nonchalant humor. You saw it a lot with Han Solo. A little nugget here I liked in this was when he got, well, number one, the fact that Din Djarin is flying commercially, I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. And I got a bit of a problem with that scene.
Really?
When that droid tells him that he can't go on with all his weapons, it was so Disneyfied right there.
Wow.
I didn't like the way that droid sounded at all.
Got that.
Also, when he got off, when he got off the transport, I was like, we could have did without that. They could have cut that.
I got that as a positive in this episode.
It did not feel like Star Wars, man.
I actually
those droids felt too much like Disney.
That's funny. I wrote that down. I said it was a nice humorous touch, unloading
it was humorous, but it wasn't
weapons.
It was not Star Wars humor. It was Disney humor.
See, that's funny. I thought it was totally Star Wars humor, actually.
No.
I thought it was hilarious that he just kept pulling all these weapons out and laying them out. People are walking by, and
maybe they could have had the droid voice a little bit different, because it just felt too cartoonish for me.
We were talking about the way the Mandalorian's words carry weight when he speaks, and talking about how they've just let sort of Boba Fett go willy-nilly with dialogue everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to thinking about how different the tones are between these characters. And a great example is the interaction between Boba Fett and that Rancor monster. I mean, he's sitting there petting that Rancor and talking to him like he's a cat. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, you know, at the time, I'm like, I don't love this. Does it bother me that much? But now, having seen Din Djarin come back again, and seeing how much his weight carries words and that feel that Boba Fett was supposed to have, now I hate that scene all of a sudden between the Rancor and Boba Fett, and how he was interacting with him. And do you want something to eat? Oh, you like that? And I'm thinking,
and Danny Trejo shouldn't even been in there. It was just completely wasted.
Well, you know,
he's Robert Rodriguez guy. I get that.
I was shocked by how many people got so fired up when Trejo showed up, because I was like, I love Danny Trejo, but it's no surprise Robert Rodriguez is directing this episode. You know, everybody was just so blown away. Oh, Danny Trejo. And I'm like, did you not expect him to show up if Robert Rodriguez is doing this show?
Yeah, and he was nothing more than Machete.
Yeah,
he's Machete and everything.
Yeah, he plays the same character.
Yeah,
over and over again. One of the things that this episode did right was you still feel the emotion and the draw that Mando has towards Grogu, and the fact that he's gone.
Yes. Newsflash, guys. We're gonna see Grogu but me and Rhodes are talking about it. We weren't sure if it's going to be in this show or will it be in Mandalorian season 3?
Right.
Because of the way, like we said, we already said that there's no Boba Fett in the show, but Fennec Shan shows up at the end and she says that Boba Fett needs your help. And he says he'll do it, but first he needs to go see a little friend. And we know that's Grogu.
Right.
I don't think we're going to see that probably in this show. So the next episode will probably be a flash forward scene of him coming back from seeing Grogu. But we'll see that interaction in Mandalorian season 3.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think they're going to put that in this show.
Yeah.
They're going to wait to put that into the Mandalorian season 3.
And Luke Skywalker, by the way.
Right. So, and look, we're fired up for that. We want to see Luke again, right?
Yeah.
I think we can all acknowledge that. But yeah, you can really feel how much he misses that that character again. The helmet has emotion, and that emotion used to be tied to the Boba Fett character. That's been taken away now.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I did think that I thought at the end of Mando season 2 that Mando was walking away from the way, but he didn't, because remember he was fighting the other guy with the dartsaber. He won,
right?
And the armor asked both of them, "Have you ever removed your helmet?" Din Djarin pauses and he admits to removing his helmet. I was thinking he probably wasn't going to do that. But he admits to it, and she says, "You're no longer a Mandalorian," and he begs for forgiveness, how to redeem himself, and he has to go to Mandalore. So we're definitely going to Mandalore in the Mandalorian season 3, I believe. We won't see that either.
And I very much got the notion the armorer is not a huge fan of Bo-Katan.
No,
I definitely got that from her character.
Yeah, they're more like religious zealots, really.
She gave him a mission, essentially, not on purpose, but she said, "You'll have to go below Mandalore," and I can't remember exactly where she said he would have to go, but that's obviously just gave him a purpose.
But we did see the destruction of Mandalore in this.
Right. Pretty cool, too.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got, that'll at least be some mission, I assume we see in season 3 of him going there so he can restore his Mandalorianness.
And he's never been there before.
Right. And of course, we get to Mos Eisley, and he gets a new ship. He gets a Naboo starfighter.
I knew we had seen that before. I started to text you. Haven't we seen that?
Yeah.
It looks very similar to what Obi-Wan and Anakin was flying in Revenge of the Sith at the beginning.
Well,
similar.
It was the ship that young Anakin flew in the Phantom Menace.
I figured that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was a new Naboo. I think it's an N1 starfighter is what they call it.
Yeah, they bring up Naboo because they said it was pre-Empire.
Well, and the Razor Crest was off the grid because it was pre-Empire. So that's why he wanted that ship.
Unlike the overlords at Disney, Jon Favreau loves bringing up the prequels. He brings up the Queen of Naboo. He's not shying away from the prequels.
No, and Melissa, we're going through the whole she hadn't seen Star Wars thing, and we finished Return of the Jedi.
Prequels?
Huh?
You guys finished the prequels?
We went through we finished Return of the Jedi last night.
Okay.
But it had been a while since I saw the prequels. Man, I enjoyed them so much more this time. For whatever reason. I don't know why. The Phantom Menace I enjoyed a lot more than I have ever enjoyed it. Both of them.
I've always loved it, man. I had the Phantom Menace, lots of Phantom Menace stuff when it came out because I enjoyed the movie. Some of the best stuff in Star Wars is in the prequels. Like, you absolutely love the Jango Obi-Wan fight. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite sequence of the entire. Well, I say that, but at the end of the day, I mean, the fight and everything with Obi-Wan and Anakin
Amazing.
in Revenge of the Sith is just lights out, you know,
Yeah.
and the
My
dialogue.
my favorite planet is Coruscant. That's my favorite planet in all of Star Wars.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes the galaxy seem so much bigger. And everything is tied to that. And I started to make a video because J.J. Abrams wanted to destroy Coruscant.
I saw that.
And
Yeah.
and the Force falls asleep. But he was overruled by Lucasfilm, and we got Hosnian Prime getting destroyed. Now, I will say this. I would not have been happy if he destroyed Coruscant, but it would have been more emotional to see that planet get destroyed than Hosnian Prime, because nobody even knew what Hosnian Prime was. We didn't even know the name of the planet.
I got to admit,
planets.
Blowing up Coruscant kind of made more sense.
It did. It did make more sense.
Yeah, it would have certainly made more impact. Yeah.
But I wonder why they didn't want him to blow it up. We don't really have much of a reason why.
Were they worried about fan backlash? Because that was the least of their concerns. If you got the rest of the story right, nobody would have cared if you blew up Coruscant. Little odd that the mechanic said that she used to date a Jawa.
I thought that was weird. I didn't like that.
Now, I mean, I was sort
and
of.
She speaks Jawa.
I'm completely indifferent to it, but correct me if I'm wrong. But back in the day, wasn't Jawa's faces supposed to be made of flies? Or they? I'm not sure. She said, but
she said they're furry.
Yeah, and then she made a noise like she was spitting fur out, and I was like, oh.
I don't know.
That gave me the heebie-jeebies. Gomer Kyle, hello, man.
Private Kyle, what's up?
She's loving these Star Wars all of a sudden. She's loving
good.
Them. Yeah, good, right? Good for me. So that's good. I don't know. So overall, really good episode of The Mandalorian, I thought.
Yep.
You know, I don't know what that said. Well, it's God, it says how bad the Book of Boba Fett's really been. This is certainly going to help their numbers when it comes to things like audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me look at that and see how much last week's much better episode actually brought them. See if it brought them up any, because they were getting close to being rotten.
I know, it was like, what, 63% overall?
Oh, dude.
What is it now?
It's still not good.
Share your screen, man. Share your screen. Let's see it.
Yeah, it's still not good at all.
And that's after the last episode that everybody liked. Ooh,
it's still 60%.
Ouch.
Oh,
so it went down even after a good episode like last week's.
Yeah, it still went down.
So now it may go down even more now, because, like I said before, this episode had nothing to do with Boba Fett. This is a Mandalorian spinoff episode.
Remember last week when I said I enjoyed this show more than I liked, or I enjoyed Solo more than I've liked this Boba Fett show so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so
this show is a discombobulated mess right now.
Look at this. Solo has a better audience score than the Book of Boba Fett right now.
Wow.
Solo, a Star Wars story, has a better audience reception.
A movie that lost a ton of money.
That's crazy. But
how do you think people are going to take this episode? Do you think, considering it doesn't further the story of Boba Fett at all?
It depends on the crowd.
And you only got 2 episodes. That's my biggest problem with this. It doesn't further Boba Fett at all.
Echo, this is the big question of the day, because it's a great episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's Mando episode 1 of season 3. That's really what it is. It's just that simple.
2.5. Or season 2.5, 2.5, episode 1. I mean, I don't know where to put it. I really don't. Do you put it as another episode of last season of Mando, or the first season of
that's the way I'm putting it. I'm not. This is not a Boba Fett episode.
It's not. No matter what, it's not.
You could probably get away with this kind of an episode if this was like a 10-episode season. But like I said before, you wasted the first 3 episodes of this season and what should really start off in episode 4, and now you go back and you have nothing to do with Boba Fett. So now you got 2 episodes to get this right. I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off.
Look, there's a couple of people that's not in the chat that's normally in here, but Asta La Rasta had brought up the fact that Boba Fett was going to die at the end of this series. This is like the wrap up of his life kind of thing, and I guess they're going to flash forward to his death or whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised they killed off everybody else from the OTs and the prequels.
Well, they're certainly acting like they're getting a season 2, if you ask me. The way they are running,
they said a limited run. Like Obi-Wan's supposed to be a limited run too.
They did, but we know how this works. If they go out with a bang, and from last week's episode all the way to the end, and the fans really like those, Disney's going to see dollar signs and greenlight another season. What else is Tamora Morrison doing? I mean, really, think about it.
But Rhodes, you've noticed something. Every time Disney does something good, they mess it up and they take 3 steps back.
They overkill it.
Prime example, Mando season 2. Everybody excited to see Luke come back, and then they fired Gina Carano.
Well,
every time they do something good, they take 2 steps back.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of been their MO. I mean, they when they fired Gina, and I made that video, I said, all of the goodwill you finally got back from The Mandalorian, from bringing Luke back, all of these things you got right in this show. And you got the feeling, you gave us the feeling you finally turned Star Wars over to a couple of guys that obviously know Star Wars. And then you went out and fired Gina Carano. And it was like, I told you, it was worse. It was more damaging to the fan base than The Last Jedi was. Firing Gina Carano was more damaging.
Yeah.
Because,
and the only reason why I'm even watching this is so we can do these streams for you guys. That's it. If I didn't have this channel, I'd be like, nah, I'm not watching any of this. But I want to be objective too.
Well, that's my thing. I always try to take everything on its own accord, I mean, its own product. But yeah, it's rough. I gave it a 3 for a Boba Fett episode, but a 7.5 as a Mando.
Well, I'm giving it 0 as a Boba Fett episode. It wasn't a Boba Fett episode.
I think that's fair, actually. I mean, I think a 0 out of 5 as a Boba Fett episode is fair. I thought it was maybe like a let's see, how do I grade? I grade out of 5. So I thought it was like a 3.75 out of 5 for a Mando episode. It was a good, solid Mandalorian episode. Terrible Boba Fett episode.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I know people think, well, this fandom
they should have at least brought in Boba Fett to recruit Din Djarin at the end. They only brought Fennec Shand. They could have brought both of them at least.
Yeah, have him show up. It would still just be a cameo from Boba in his own series.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, it would still be a Mandalorian episode. So I don't. It's weird. This whole series is all over the place. I've never seen anything like it. That's about all I had on this episode, though. I thought it was a great return for the Mandalorian.
Yeah. And that was the name of the episode.
The Return of the Mandalorian. Star Wars, The Return of the Mandalorian. Sounds like a movie,
Yeah.
On a side note, I did read another article involving where all of this is going and the fact that this is probably all leading to a big theatrical movie involving all of these characters. And Thrawn will be the big bad guy in all of this. It will end up being the big baddie in all this.
So Ahsoka would have to remember. Ahsoka is out with Sabine trying to find Grand Admiral Thrawn
and Ezra. Right.
So you think she's going to end up? There's going to be a team with like Din Djarin?
Well, it's supposed to come together in some kind of a large Infinity War / Endgame scenario where it's this large, massive team up against a particular big baddie. In this case, it'll be Thrawn. Hey, Disney, Thrawn would have been great as the main villain in the sequel trilogy. That would have been really freaking cool.
Hey, Rhodes, remember they had that bit team up in the Rise of Palpatine. All these people coming out of hyperspace, and you saw Wedge.
It works better, though, when you set it up with multiple seasons of character development a la Marvel, in the MCU, but it don't work when they just show up out of hyperspace out of nowhere.
I found it kind of funny. Remember in The Last Jedi at the end? Nobody responded to their call for help. But for some kind of reason, everybody responds at the end of Palpatine. The Rise of Palpatine.
Why? Why is that?
In the unknown regions. Which nobody, I guess, wouldn't really know because it's called Unknown Regions. It didn't make any sense.
No, nothing about the sequel trilogy really made sense. We started The Force Awakens last night. Because I asked Melissa, I said, do you want to watch these? I said, I wasn't going to watch them. And she was like, yeah, I want to see them. If they're part of this, I want to watch them. And I was like, okay. So we started them last night. We made it all the way to We're Home. And and then we had to go to sleep. But
newsflash, Melissa, that movie gets worse as it goes along.
I used to love that movie. I just got
mad. I always hated it, man.
I got mad over again
because I knew
night.
exactly what Disney was doing. I was like, I've seen this before. It's a Dollar General version of A New Hope.
I just got mad all over again.
This is funny. LeBron James is still on page 1 of the book of Boba Fett. That's funny.
He's looking at the back. He's trying to order a Cliff Notes version of the Malcolm X autobiography.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Tannehill. I guess Gomer Kyle is in your I hate Ryan Tannehill camp, maybe.
Yeah. Don't blame you. Don't blame you at all.
Any final words from you, Mr. Matrixx?
What else are we missing anything on this episode? Guess we kind of covered everything.
I don't think so. I think, like we talked about, we're going to start in with the next episode, probably with him coming back from having seen Grogu. That's my take.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think they're showing us that.
Yeah, unless they pull something out of left field and Luke comes in and takes out the Pikes, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I am making a call, though. I'm calling it right now. I think we may see Han Solo in the next episode.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Cad Bane?
Oh, we haven't talked about Cad.
No, we haven't talked about Cad Bane.
We haven't. Are we finally going to see the live action showdown, the live action version of the showdown? Or, God, do we want to see Boba and Cad Bane team up? Do we want to see that?
I would like to see Boba and remember in the Clone Wars. Who was that? There was a deleted scene. There was a standoff with Cad Bane and
yeah, everybody's seen the helmet. That's where the helmet got the dent. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, if they did team up,
I'd rather see Cad Bane work with the Pikes.
They are bounty hunters. I mean,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're going to work for money.
I'd rather see Cad Bane work with the Pikes and have to fight against Mando and Boba.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
But if they're going to take out Cad Bane, it's got to be by the hands of Boba Fett. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Not even Luke. Nobody else.
Yeah. So, I don't even need Luke to show up in this show. It'll feel out of place. Like Jedi won't be involved in like underground stuff like this. Underworld stuff.
Although, would I love to see a gun duel between Han Solo and Cad Bane?
This is definitely something. This is definitely more of an era for Han Solo right here.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah,
Han and Chewie.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, how they would actually implement them, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't know how they would actually put him in. Because what is Han doing right now, really? It could be that, it's Ben Solo's probably getting born right now.
Han's still at home right now, I think.
He's with Leia still.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's went back to smuggling yet.
So where are they? Are they already on Hosnian Prime? Which, God, I hate that planet.
That's interesting. I was just thinking he was going to happen through Mos Eisley. Is kind of what I
guess so. He's doing his own thing.
Yeah, I just figured him and Chewie would come rambling through there and bump into Boba or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm calling that for the next episode. I think Han shows up.
Okay.
So.
All right, cool.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up. You ready to wrap it up?
Yep. I'm ready to wrap it up. 10 a.m. Black and white sports. We got 2 hours. So I got to get dressed. I got to get showered up and everything. So.
All right, man.
All right,
everybody
guys.
take care. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Peace. We are out. Till
next time.